you've got a piece coming out about Napier as a play caller, and I think it's a really interesting subject to dig into. And you talk to defensive coordinators who have faced his offense before. What did they tell you about that? And is there perhaps a reason to still be concerned about that element of Florida's offense moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's significant reason to be concerned. I was surprised, though not stunned, I guess I should say, that Billy Napier did not relinquish play calling duties in the offseason. It should be known, like, at least to my knowledge, and I feel like, I talked to everybody I could talk to. At least to my knowledge, there wasn't ever any plan like, hey, Billy, you have to go and get a coordinator. That wasn't a thing. But there was some thought that, hey, Billy Napier is a reflexive guy. If you've talked to Billy Napier for 15 minutes, he doesn't have a huge ego. So it's kind of like, why does he continue to do what no one is doing? And what better example while watching the college football playoff than Chip Kelly and kind of seeing why, or, flip side of that, Al Golden, and seeing why you can have a bright offensive or defensive mind, and having a coordinator still allows you kind of the freedom to be the CEO. And there's no reason Billy wouldn't have his hand in the offense. But I talked to multiple SEC coordinators and a couple defensive assistants. And the consensus was that Florida schematically, particularly in their run game schemes, is very multiple and hard to defend. What was fascinating, and that they don't feel like there were like play calling issues per se outside of situational play calling with Florida as it relates to the run game. What was fascinating was I asked questions specifically about play calling and situational play calling, and the answer I got was it's less situational play calling and more schematic issues in their passing game. And that to me was pretty fascinating. And this was a consensus with each of these coaches. And they said, go back and look at, one of them told me, go back and look at Florida's biggest wins last year. And they said, go back and look at LSU and look at Ole Miss and look at the throws that DJ Lagway made on either touchdowns or plays that set up touchdowns, and how those players that he threw the ball to were not open. They said, just note that they weren't open. The pass to Elijah Badger, who's going to be 4th or 5th round draft pick at worst, not open. Down at the goal line, just a flag route. He maybe had a half a yard of separation. Lagway threw it to the only place that he could catch the ball, and he made the catch. Ole Miss, Florida, he throws open a corner route in the end zone, so Florida gets a lead, which they don't relinquish, right? And then how do they seal the wins in those games? With really nice run scheme plays like the Jaden Baugh run against LSU, where they had, an All-American center pull and just wipe out Weeks, the linebacker. That kind of stuff is good, but they're going to be so reliant on DJ making these elite kind of transcendental throws. And, one of the coordinators told me they just don't get enough guys open. They don't have enough personnel sets to get guys open. They have looks where, it's one of 3 route trees. And so if you have a really good safety, he's going to come up to the linebacker and be like, hey, that guy's running this or this. Or go to a corner and tell them what's coming. So Florida is very predictable in terms of what their pass game concepts are, at least according to these defensive coordinators. And I will say, like, these are like high level. I mean, obviously, if you're an SEC defensive coordinator, you can coach some football, but these are really good ones that spoke to me. And yeah, I mean, I think it was surprising because, this is not a hot take. Like, Florida's window to win is now. It is this year and next year. And then with the first pick in the NFL draft, so-and-so selects DJ Lagway, quarterback, University of Florida. And that is it. The window is over. So why Billy Napier would insist on his play calling and his being the offensive coordinator as the answer to winning in that small window is a curiosity, and it's a curiosity that will define whether Billy Napier ultimately succeeds at Florida or doesn't.